Hey all, this is NKD Trade Zone. So right about today, we'll be going on to the BTC analysis, talking about the short time frame and also the higher time frame, liquidation heat map and all those. Now, let's start up with where we currently are right now, which is the BTC 1 month time frame, as we can get to see here. Now, this was the peak of the cycle sometime in 2017, as we can see right here. This was the 2016 bulls run. This was the peak in 2021, and currently we are in 2025. Now, the sentiment surrounding the market to many investors is the fact that this is the Bitcoin high, and as it stands, we are on our way all the way to the downside. While some others are still very much optimistic that the market is still going to create a new high as possibly 120k, 130k and above that. We can't actually say much about that for now, but the entire concept of the market and the system of the market goes with the fact that we progress as the market progresses. We only can evaluate and make assumptions based on what is currently happening in the market. And as we know, the BTC cycle gets to top at majorly the quarter 3 or the quarter 4 after the year of halving, which in this sense now we're expecting BTC to top anywhere between October, November, thereabout of 2025. And this right now, as we can see, is still April 2025. So in that given sense now, we cannot yet state, in my own belief, the fact that we have actually gotten to the peak of this cycle. I don't believe that in any way that we've gotten to the peak of this cycle. We're just having our correction. As you can see, sometime last year, after we go to the bottom of the cycle of 2021 top and 2022 bottom, we saw ourselves on an uptrend right here with a correction going all the way to the downside. Following that, in the same year 2023, we got an uptrend all the way till March 2024 with a correction. Now all the way from the 50k zone, around 50k zone, we got in August 2024. We went as high as 109,000 plus after the Trump presidential election, which was the victor too. We got ourselves a price as high as 109,000 early January 2025, and since then we've just been on a downtrend. So you cannot yet conclude that we are certainly on a downtrend. The bulls run is over, so and so, up until the market proves so. And in that given sense now, you can see that we have actually been on a downtrend 1 2 3 4, and this is actually the 5th month. Nothing much different from what happened last year when Bitcoin went downtrend from March, April, May, June, July, all the way to August. 5 months, as you can see here. So it's just a period of a sideways and a downtrend. We are getting to see the same thing happening here once again, sideways and a downtrend. And in this very given case now, there is an expectation I have of the market, and that is the fact that within this zone here, as you can see right here, the market should get to fall back in and continue. What I'm actually saying in essence is the fact that I expect the market to do something like this, falling all the way into the zone here as low as possible, 60 something thousand, early 70,000s, and so then we can have ourselves a move to the upside once again. And that move now, if you look at the 1 month time frame, it tallies with something, and that is the fact that this was our high of 2017 right here. Let's get a trend line. Our high of 2017. Following up with that, we had our high of 2021. And currently now, as you can see, there is a structure we are currently looking into the market, and that is this high followed by a retracement. It looks very much similar to what we can see here. So a high followed by a retracement and a continuation. So it can be basically what we're having right here. The market going as high as this zone, going all the way down here. Let's say we bottom at the month of April right here, 70k zone, 69k zone, thereabout. And after that, we go in for a new high. As I stated, the market should get to its topmost zone anytime in the quarter 4 or late quarter 3, which is between September, October, November. I don't expect the market to go as high as December. Then we have such a price level of this. And if you look at this now, if we zoom into the market by structure, you check out, let's assume BTC falls as low as 68k, 70k level. From that zone all the way to expected 120k, we're having a 73% price pump in the market price. Why the last time this happened, if you look well at this, we got to this zone, rejected, fell all the way back here for the next few weeks. After that, we went all the way to the upside and we got ourselves what, 140% to the upside. So the chances of this happening is very much possible, and stating that the bull season is out is something that I would not admit yet. I will not agree to, because there are so many things that points that is not the case. Like looking at the RSI now, there is something we can find in the RSI. Up till date, this was the 2017 peak, this was the 2021 peak, and this was what, the 2025 peak that we are currently what, expecting. If you look very well at this now, you can find out that we've not actually gotten to the overbought region. This was what, a green color into the purple, a green color into the purple, but up till now we are just like trading as we are trading before what, we went into the zone of being overbought. And in that given sense now, I'm expecting a price movement of this extent with a decline trend line right here, with BTC price tapping into that trend line, thereby getting this price target which I've stated here. So at the end of the day, we might get BTC going as low as a 70k, less than 70k level, which will what, facilitate this right here, which we can see. After that, we go in now for a trend line with a touch here, a touch here, and a touch here. So in that given sense, now you know your expectation. Now the fact that we're expecting a low returns on Bitcoin, which we are speaking about, just a 73%, does not mean that the same is going to apply for altcoins. Bitcoin is 73% thereabout. So many altcoins will be running in hundreds of percent, because most of them are very low on their market cap to some few tens of millions, hundreds of millions and all. And most are likely going to easily 3x, 5x, 10x from where they currently are. So that is something to look into the market right now, and keep in mind that up till date we've gotten no overbought on what, the BTC RSI on the monthly time frame. Now let's switch over to the lower time frame. Let's see what BTC has actually been doing. Now on the lower time frame, this is the 1-day time frame that we have here. We have Bitcoin what, just on a descending channel, the price at this zone all the way to the top, to this zone, to the top, to this zone, what, to the top. And we can actually see a form of consolidation in that price movement. Now the consolidation has been much more tighter in the past few days, as we can see right here with what, the trend or an ascending channel, which gives us what, price standing at this zone. Now zooming into the 4 hours time frame, this is much more of what I'm talking about. We had BTC price all the way from this price zone of 76,000, get as high as this zone, fell back into this zone right about here, went all the way up, fell back into the zone, went all the way up, fell back into that zone. And for the past few weeks, this has started occurring as at 11th of March 2025, which is almost a month ago, and we've not seen the price drop below this target. Rather, we've seen actually that Bitcoin has what, given a high here. This was a previous high, a new high, a new high, and this right now is much more like a double top structure, because it did not get to break out from this. But one major thing that I got to speak about earlier on was the fact that, contrary to what happened in the previous times, we saw Bitcoin what, did not break out from this descending zone which we had here. But for the first time last week, we got what, a major move out, though there was no what, relevant close or a daily candle close. As you can see, we are making use of the 1-day time frame, which we just adjusted to the shorter time frame, which is the 4 hours, to check this out. So on the daily time frame, we had no what, daily candle close above that zone, but rather what, a massive weak rejection back into the zone. So the candle did not actually what, get to close and went all the way in. It shows that what, a breakout has not occurred yet, and Bitcoin could likely be on its way for newer lows. So this is what is actually what, the impact of the current structure which we've actually been holding for what, the past few weeks right now, all the way since the 20th of January 2025. We've just been what, on this downtrend within this channel. But contrary to what we had before, we are having ourselves this form of consolidation. But we cannot count on this consolidation that much for now, because as you can see, previously we had such an occurrence right here, which we had what, the price going around this zone right here. You can see that. So price was trading all the way down into this zone, but we got a big break and what a massive downtrend of around 15-16% in just what a few days. We're talking about 1 2 3 4 5 days. So just within the week of a trading what session. So that is something to keep in mind. And in that sense, now we might be expecting the same this time around, because if you try now to pay attention to this, we had this particular candle here, which was a rejection candle. So this candle here, which is much more similar to what we're having right about here. Let's get that. This. So following that, now we had what? This phase of what? Consolidation sitting above that ascending channel, which right now we have what? That same phase of consolidation sitting above that channel. Moving over now to our RSI, we did not really get to see RSI being what? Overbought at this zone. It was much more in the center zone. And following that, we had what? This massive dump to the downside, which in this case now, BTC is doing what? Correlatively the same thing. We are not getting to see any form of what? Overbought in the BTC on the daily time frame, but most likely and to a very good extent, it looks what? Very similar to what is currently occurring or has occurred previously. And in that sense, now what I'm actually saying is the fact that we could be in now for just a major dump. Today being Sunday, we could see what? A major dump between the next 24 hours, a form of short-term retest for BTC to want to get back into this zone, ultimately failing. And if that occurs by any time this week, which is what? Friday being the 11th of April, you can get a massive way to the downside. And as you can see on the daily time frame, we are in no way oversold on the daily time frame. That means there is still room all the way to the downside. So something to actually get to take note of. And if that gets to happen, you should keep in mind that Bitcoin is going to go as slow as what? A 69,000, less than 69,000. Because if you look in well now, we had what? A zone at this level, a zone at this level, and the next likely zone to be respected is what? This level right about here, which if you look into the daily time frame, plotting out your fair value gap, you have what? This extent all the way from here and what to here if you look into your daily fair value gap. And if you check well at that, your fair value gap starts from the price zone of 74,300, 400 or down to 70,600 or 70,500. And in that sense now, doing this is simply what? Clearing out the fair value gap which we had what? At the zone of discount. Why this right here was our fair value gap at the premium zone, which weeks ago we've already what? Gotten to take out of. So if you look very well at this, we are just simply trading inside the premium fair value gap, and nothing much is actually happening around this zone. So a break below that premium fair value gap, we would be en route to the discount fair value gap. So this is all on the higher time frame. Let's move over to the lower time frame and look into what is currently occurring and also our liquidation heat map. All right, now let's get this done. Let's plot this out. We have what? A structure of this level right here, and also what? The structure of this level right here currently being obeyed. But inside this ascending channel structure, we have what? Ourselves a symmetrical triangle, and in that case, this is our symmetrical triangle right about here. Let's change out the colors, then make this bold. Now this is it right now. We have ourselves what? Building up a symmetrical triangle. So as you know, the structure of a symmetrical triangle is bilateral. It can either go to the upside or go to the downside. And in this very given case now, the symmetrical triangle has a target of this level, though not all the time it will be completely taken out, but we expect something of this level to what? To get to occur, either to the upside or what? To the downside. So depending on breakout, either we're going all the way up or we're going all the way what? To the downside. And in that case now, let's take a good look at our liquidation heat map to completely understand where our liquidity levels are located. Now this is the 1 week time frame on what? The Bitcoin liquidation heat map. We have a major liquidity if you talk about the price zone of 85,235, though we have some liquidity to actually sweep around this other zone right here. And going all the way to the downside, we have what liquidity at the price $81,000, and also what a pool of liquidity that can be swept as low as $80,000. And in that case, now let's get back over to the BTC short-term time frame as we analyze on that using these two parameters of 85,002 and 81,001 on the liquidity. Further plotting that, let's get out our heat zones. We have 85,200 from current price, that is for the buy side, and 81,100 for the sell side. All right, so let's change out the colors to get this structure. And so this is it right now. So for the liquidity heat map, as I stated earlier on, we have what this form of what ascending channel going all the way from a touch here to a touch here. So from here to here to here to here, all the way into this pattern of consolidation. And you know, after consolidation comes what? A trend. That is because during the period of consolidation, liquidity is always being built to the upside and to the downside. Now, what always matters is which comes first, because in so many case scenarios, you get one side of liquidity taken out. Following that, we have what? The second side being taken out. And in this case now, we might get, as I stated, the liquidity at the buy side is not strictly what to 85,200. There are still what a little pool of liquidity to the upside. And in that sense now, I actually believe that the market could be in on the short term to what? Give us a break to the upside, which is what such a case scenario of this. Following that now, we what? Break all the way to the downside, target this liquidity and clear the pool as low as what? $80,000. And if you should what? Look in more into this pattern, now we have what? The bearish ascending channel, which normally in a good case scenario, it's what? It's a bearish continuation pattern, which we're expecting what? The price to what? Go all the way down to this zone right here, enter into a phase of consolidation in an ascending channel, get a breakout, and what? Get a target all the way to the downside. But one thing you should also take note of is the fact that the short-term buyers here will actually get to affect our long-term result. I will be showing that shortly. But for the short term, keep in mind that we are currently in the formation of what? This symmetrical triangle right now inside an ascending channel, with the price target going all the way to the upside, likely taking out this liquidity firstly at 85,000 to as high as $86,000. Once it's done with that, we might be in what? For a continuation to the downside. I made use of the statement might be in, because whenever you are trading, you do not keep out the chances of other possibilities. You only what? Make use of what? The most possible outcome to make your judgment, not neglecting other possibilities. So according to my analysis and what I can figure out with a sentimental point of view, the market should be going in to take this liquidity at the upside, which is what? The value 85,002 to as high as 86,000, thereby finally taking out what? The top of this channel here. And the next target should be the what? The bottom of this channel, in the case of what? The bearish ascending channel continuation pattern all the way what? To the downside. Now when we start speaking about the price zone 81,001 and as low as 80,000, we should pay respect to what I showed earlier in this video. So let's get to that. Now, I stated at the earlier part of this video that BTC has actually been in this form of consolidation, holding on to that zone. Now, BTC having what? To take out 85,002 to 86,000. This is what we are having expectations of, 85,002 and as high as what? 86,000. This is what? The zone right here. While if you talk about the lower side, we are talking about 81,001 and as low as what? $80,000, which in this case now, I've stated this is the fact that once BTC gets to break below this zone, which it has been expecting for the past few weeks, there's likely a chance that we are going all the way to the downside. So in a very given case that we see Bitcoin do something like this, go all the way up, clear this liquidity, then retraces and what? Fails to break out and confirm the breakout for a continuation, and we get price go all the way down to clear out this liquidity as low as 80,000. We are most likely going in now what? For a rebound if there will be, and what, a massive dump to the downside. That is something to actually get to take note of. The price target still remain the zone 70,000 and less than what, a $70,000 in the BTC price chart. So that is something you should actually get to watch out for now. But something to also note is the fact that in the case of a trend, in the case of a severe trend, liquidity levels are usually ignored. What that means is the fact that I pointed out how this structure here looks very much like this structure, and during this structure we also had liquidity to the upside as high as $98,000 back then. But what happened was the fact that it was completely ignored, and what, we got a breakout on this zone and kept on what, dropping all the way to the downside. The same can happen today. Liquidity must not always be taken out. In the case of a trend, it can always what, be ignored. So keep that in mind and take note of that. BTC could decide to ignore going up for the liquidity at the 95.2 zone and rather just go all the way down to this zone here, clear out this liquidity at 81,001 as low as 80,000, going for a short-term rebound, and we see a massive dump to the downside by the end of this week. So keep that in mind and take note that whenever BTC gets to what, hit price target of 81,000, means that our ascending zone has been broken. Hereby we are much more bearish than bullish. BTC is not bullish up until we've been able to break above and what, retest this descending zone which we've actually been in for the past few weeks. Once it's able to break above, then get a confirmed retest, not the case of a breakdown as he had last week. We get a confirmed retest, then we can be in for long-term bullish as high as what, 120,000 for the short term and possibly higher on the longer term. So that is something to take note of, and these are the analysis for the longer time frame and shorter time frame. This is NKD Trade Zone.